Hi, my name's Laureen Hayden, and today we're going to embrace a deep mindful flow practice, beginning standing in mountain pose. This is perfect for days when you are ready to jump right into movement. If you have blocks that you want to use, they are totally optional. Just have them ready at the top of your mat. And we're just going to begin with some centering and then move right into our flow. So just feel your feet against the ground. You can take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the nose or mouth. And we're just getting a sense of ourselves here in the space, here in this moment, here on the mat, in our bodies. And as you're feeling your feet against the earth, you can feel the support of the earth, and maybe even a sense of drawing Earth's energy up through the feet, through the legs, into your hara, into your center of gravity, in the center of your pelvis, below the belly button, right in front of the sacrum. And you can make your breaths start to flow deeper and fuller. If Ujjayi, victorious breath, is part of your practice, you can begin at any time. And if we can keep the breath flowing and integrate the breath with our movement, we really want the breath to guide the movement, and this helps to integrate all the aspects of the being. Of course, if at any time you need to let that breath go, take a break, you can just come back into it whenever you feel ready. So as we're here, I just want you to draw up through the legs, following with your mind's eye up through your body, finding your hips right over your heels. So you might even rock a little forward and back or side to side. Just feel yourself in a vertical stance. And you can kind of wiggle and lift up through the waist and find your shoulders right above your hips. Relax the arms and hands. So our mountain pose is actually a neutral relaxation pose with all the bones vertical. All the muscles can relax. Lifting up through the spine, through the sternum, through the neck, the head, all the way up through the crown. Take a few more breaths here just to orient yourself within. You can just leave all your thoughts of the day outside. Allow yourself to come within where it's restful and peaceful. If at any time during this practice there's anything that you wish to skip or do differently, please feel free to make this practice your own. So I will be giving suggestions and you can follow as you like. So we'll just begin with sweeping the arms out. Feel them long, reach through your fingers, let the energy raise them up. And we're just going to come into this kind of tall mountain pose. So I want you to feel your elbows, your wrists, your finger joints stacked up above that whole big stack we already made. Ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, elbows, wrists, reaching through your fingers. And then we're just going to lift the heels, maybe one at a time. So you can bend a knee and bend the other knee and just lift as tall as you can. Draw energy inward, pulling your thighs together, pulling your ankles together for balance. Reach up. When you're ready, let an exhale breath drop the heels and take you forward. We always want to hinge from the hips, soften the knees, come down with a flat back, then hands down, then head down. Inhale halfway up. You can use fingertips on the ground or on the front of the legs. Exhale, fold again. Bend your knees a lot. Work the legs here. Drop the weight to the heels, kind of coming up through this flying chair sort of position, squeezing up, pushing with the legs, reach up. Float your arms down by your sides. So we're just waking up the heart with these arm sweeps, lifting up with your inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward, flat back, hands down, head down. Inhale to halfway up. Exhale, fold, maybe a little hand on the ankle to pull you a little deeper. Bend your knees a lot, sweep your arms, rise up. And we're going to go right back into it again. Exhale, soften knees, hinge forward, lead with your heart, hands down, head down. Inhale, halfway up. Shoulders back, collarbones broad. Exhale to fold. Bend your knees a lot, drop your hips, sweep your arms. Rise from the crown of your head, hands together at the top. Interlace fingers. As you exhale, squeeze your thighs, pull your hips back, and just bend over to the right. Inhale up center. And then exhaling, bend over to the left. Inhale back up to center, and as you exhale, separate your hands, float your arms, fold forward. Inhale halfway up, and then place your palms down, step your feet back, and come into a plank pose. So the arms are vertical, shoulders over wrists if that's comfortable. Squeeze your thighs, push your thigh bones back. And then we're going to bring the knees down. You can bring your knees right under your hips. And we'll just take a few cat-cows. Inhale to lift your chest, sternum up, tail up, throat open. Exhale, round your back. Reverse it again. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, round your back. Flex your spine. One more time like that. Inhale, extend. Feel the front body opening, stretching across the abdominal panel. Exhale, round, tuck tail, push with your hands. Come back to center with an inhale. As you exhale, lateral flexion of the spine. So look to one side. Look toward that hip, opening the opposite side body. Cat tail, inhale back to center. And as you exhale, opposite side. Look for the other hip, opening opposite side of the body. Just do that a few times. Inhaling, center, neutral. Exhale, lateral flexion of your spine. Inhale, center, and over to the other side. One more round. Just opening up into the obliques. Stretching out the spine. Come back to center. Curl your toes and press back to downward facing dog. So coming into our first downward dog here, we're just going to pedal out the feet if that's feeling good for you. If you'd rather hold still, that's fine. Just kind of exploring into the muscles, just waking things up, saying hello to your feet, your ankles, your legs. Make sure the weight is evenly distributed across your hands so that you're not dumping weight at the wrists. You want to press into the upper part of the palms, and then even up your legs and melt your heart back toward your toes. Take 2 breaths. And at the end of the next exhale, bring your knees down, and we're going to come into cat twist. So just angle your left hand slightly in towards center. Keep it in the same place. Just let the fingers point towards center. Sweep your right arm up. Inhale, open your chest out to the right, and as you exhale, reach under, gently lowering yourself down to rest on the back of your right arm. Let the head rest on the ground well above the ear and look up over your left shoulder. See if you can get a sense of the weight even between the knees. Take a few breaths here. Inverted twist is extremely cleansing to all of your visceral organs. Stretching through the intercostal muscles in the rib cage, through the spinal muscles, in between all the vertebrae. You can be pushing with your left hand on the ground to lift that left shoulder up higher. Maybe deepen this twist, and then we're going to unwind. Come back to center. This time, angle right hand slightly inward. Inhale to sweep your left arm up. As you exhale, reach under. So just gently bending that right elbow to lower yourself down to rest on the back of your left arm, the back of the head well above the ear so that the neck is in line with the rest of the spine through the torso. And you want even weight from knee to knee. And just breathe and look up over your shoulder. You can push with your right hand in order to deepen that twist and to support the weight. So there's no weight in the neck here, no weight in the head. The head is just resting. And when you feel even and complete, you can release it. Even up your hands, fingers spread very wide apart, curl your toes, and press back to downward dog. So as you come into a downward dog, you really kind of want to be moving back more than up. And it's fine to keep a generous bend in the knees here. What we really want to do in our downward dog is get the pelvis in line with the torso. So if we force the knees towards straight, we get this rounding of the back. And we really want to reinforce the power and the energy through the spine. When you're ready to change, mindfully move your feet up toward your hands. Inhale to halfway up. Exhale to fold. You can pull yourself gently in if that feels good. Bend your knees, sweep your arms, reach up. This time put your palms together and let the hands come down in front of your heart. And just take a few breaths here. Samastita He is active, aware standing. You can feel the pressure between the palms, activation through the arms and shoulders, the legs sturdy and strong. And next we're going to do a traditional sun salutation. So when you're ready, you're going to take your joined hands up overhead. Just take a little back bend here, moving the arms back, maybe not leaning too far back. We want to protect the low back here by pulling the abs in. As you exhale, separate your hands and float forward to your forward fold. With your next inhale, the right foot moves back. If you're using blocks, you can grab them. Bring your back knee down and lift your chest. Fine to keep the hands on the ground here if you really want to emphasize the opening in the front of the right thigh and hip. If you want to move a little deeper with some muscular energy here, you want to squeeze the legs, push against the ground. If you want to lift your hands to your knee, maybe even moving the hips a little back to support arms coming over. When you're ready, release. We're going to place the hands down on the mat, lift the back knee, step back to plank. We'll bring the knees down, the chest and the chin. So bending elbows, this is 8-pointed pose. The hips stay up. Tush up, chest down, and then bring your belly down and lift up into a baby cobra. Use your back muscles to lift you. Exhaling all the way back to downward facing dog. And then bring the right foot forward between your hands. Again, if you want to grab your blocks, bring your back knee down, lift and open your heart. Low crescent. If you're taking a deeper variation, or I should just say a more muscular variation, you can squeeze the muscles and change your arms wherever they feel happy and good to you. Hands come down, lift your back knee, step your left foot forward, exhaling to your forward fold. And then bend your knees, sweep your arms, rise all the way up. Bring the hands down in front of the heart. Samastitihi, standing actively aware. Maybe you can feel your heart beat with your thumbs against your chest. Take some deep breaths. So we're really working this relaxation response through our practice, which just is a scientific term actually that means regulating the nervous system, regulating the heart rate, as well as the blood pressure, the brain waves. So just take those conscious deep inhales and exhales to bring everything back to homeostasis, neutral, happy place. We're going to do the same sequence for the other side. Inhale, take the arms over. You can take a little back bend here. Lead with the arms. Drop your tailbone to protect your low back. As you exhale, fold forward. Inhale, left foot steps back this time. Bring your knee down, lift your chest. With your exhale, palms down, step back through plank, then knees, chest, and chin to ground. With the inhale, drop your hips, lift your chest, and then exhale, downward dog. So this time, left foot steps forward between the hands, drop your back knee, lift your chest. And then exhaling, step forward, forward fold. Bend your knees, sweep your arms, and rise. Hands together, bring the hands down in front of the heart. Conscious deep breathing. Inhaling, sweep arms up. Exhale, fold forward. With your inhale, move your right foot back. We're going to come into an exalted crescent pose. Bend your front knee till your thigh is approximately parallel to the ground. Back leg should be nice and strong, alert and aware. With your inhale, rise up. So you can lift your back heel, straighten your front knee, sweep your arms up. We're going to do kind of this flying crescent entry. Exhale, push through the heel, bend the knee, arms can come down. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, sweep up, lift up. Exhale, sink down. One more time. Inhale up and bring it down. Let's bring the hands behind the hips. Inhale to extend the arms, and when you exhale, hinge forward, out of your left hip. And let your body come forward into this humble crescent shape. You can let the chest or shoulder rest on your left knee. If it feels good, you can lift your arms up behind you. When you're ready, you're going to push all the way up to reach up. And then exhaling, right hand comes down, left hand goes up, crescent twist. Just hold for a few breaths. Try to keep your back heel pointing up. Don't let it roll out to the side. And then back knee down again. We're going to lean those hips forward. Again, any variation you like here. I really love to get into the hip flexor here on the right and the psoas muscle, so I like to keep the support of my hands, the weight of the body, so I can stretch really deeply into the front of that right hip. And then we're just going to seesaw back. So we're just going to rock back. And you can go as far as you like. You can keep your toes down if you want to stretch more in the top of the foot in front of the ankle, or you can lift your toes to get more into the back. And you can stay here with the hips up, or you could sit all the way back on your back heel. Inhale here, and as you exhale, just bow over that extended leg. So whatever that looks like for you, moving your forehead towards your knee if your hips are up or hips are down. If you want to use your right hand to cross over and just gently nudge yourself a little bit deeper. And then we'll release this. Shift forward again. Lift your back knee and step your right foot up. Exhale to fold. Bend your knees, sweep your arms, and rise. Float your arms down by your sides. And just take some resting breaths here. So it's always good, no matter how active a practice you're doing, to give yourself a few breaths in between sequences or even in between poses to let the body digest what you've just done. And then we're going to do the same for the other side. So inhale, sweep your arms up, stretch up. Exhale, forward fold. Coming down with a flat back and then head down. You can round a little bit. Knees are always soft here for a forward fold. We're going to inhale, stepping the left foot back, finding our crescent stance. So if you need to widen out your feet, that might actually give you a little more stability. If you found it a little shaky on the first side, just give yourself more space between in the width of the base of your pose. Inhale, lift up. You can straighten front knee, lift back heel, sweep up. Exhale, kind of like this flying motion, sinking down. Inhale to squeeze up and reach up. Exhale, sink down, sweep your arms. One more time. Inhale up. And then exhaling, come down. We're going to join the hands behind the hips, interlace fingers. Maybe take the opposite interlace from the time before. Inhale, extend the arms, lift and open your heart. And as you exhale, hinge forward from that right hip. And so you might find your chest or shoulder resting on your right thigh. And you can lift your arms up behind you if that's feeling good. Letting the head come all the way forward if you feel balanced, gazing behind you at your back foot. We have both strength and stretch happening in the right leg. Inhale to rise. As you exhale, left hand comes down for crescent twist. You can sweep that right arm back and then up, opening the chest out to the right. See if you can keep your hips low here. So we don't want to be having the hips way up in the air. If you can, just bend a little more into your right knee. Drop your hips, lift your heart. When you're ready to release it, right hand comes down, the back knee comes down. And you can, again, choose your variation here of this low crescent. And again, I'm just going to go deep into that left hip flexor, the psoas muscle, which also is really helping to stretch the low back. So it actually runs, interestingly, through the pelvis, connects into the lower spine. So this helps to keep us open around the hips, the low back. Chest is open, so this is an energizing stance. Even with your hands down, still an energizing spinal orientation. When you're ready, You're going to rock back. You could consider this like a half Hanumanasana if you're doing like a half splits. If you'd rather bring your hips all the way down to sit on your back heel, kind of like more of a Janu Shirshasana forehead to knee pose. Either position, let your head bow toward your knee. Nice deep breaths. So here we have the throat a little bit compressed with the chin tucking in. Massaging thyroid, parathyroid glands. So in our asana practice, nothing is missed. We're working every muscle, joint, all the connective tissue, organs, systems. When you're ready, shift forward again, and we'll curl back toes under. You can place your hands down and just step that back foot forward. Fold in. If you want to give this a little leverage, you can wrap your peace fingers around your big toes. As you inhale, extend your spine with the arms long and straight. And then exhaling, bend the elbows out to the sides and pull yourself a little deeper. So we're just gently pulling to stretch through the back, through the spine, the ribs. If you want to move your head around, you might get some release through the neck. Stay with your breath. Nourishing the brain. All of our inversions are helping to alleviate or prevent depressive episodes. So really helpful for depression to give our brains lots of blood flow, different perspective. Let's go ahead and bend the knees, weight in the heels, sweep your arms, and rise up. Bring the hands together at the top. We'll take a half moon bend to the left. So just a straight side angle. Inhale up, and then arcing over, keeping your shoulders and hips square ahead. Inhale up, and let your arms float down by your sides. Try just taking those 3 deep breaths, that relaxation response breath. You can use this anytime, anywhere, to switch off the stress response and switch on your healing mode. Let's inhale and sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Lead with your heart. Flat back, then hands down, then head down. Inhale halfway up. Exhaling, we'll place the palms down and step the feet all the way back, downward facing dog. Just a couple breaths to enjoy and explore this downward dog. And remember, keeping a little bend in the knees is going to actually let you get deeper into your downward dog. So just give that a little bend. The heels can still descend toward the mat. And we're going to inhale right leg up high. Lift it up, bend the knee, and then open your body out to the right, looking under your right arm. You can let your left heel descend to the mat. Point your right knee way up toward the ceiling. Take some breaths. If it feels good to you, you can move that leg around up there. Circle your ankle, whatever comes to you in that way. And then we're going to inhale, square the hips, straighten the leg. Exhale, step your foot right below your heart. So we want a little shorter stance. We're going to bump the back foot up a couple inches and ground through the heel, coming into our warrior one stance. So inhale to rise and reach up. Exhaling, bend your front knee. Warrior one, first position of these grounding, strengthening warriors. Warriors are aware, mindful, strong yet not rigid. From here, we're going to take it forward into warrior three. So we're just going to sweep the arms. If you want to keep your arms up and forward, you can even interlace fingers here and kind of squeeze the arms on the head if you want extra challenge. I like to sweep the arms out to get more opening in the chest. You can bump your back foot up as you straighten your right leg. Try to keep your left hip forward and down. Hinge on that right hip. Take a couple breaths here. And then we're going to bring the hands all the way down to the ground. Blocks if you like, or hands to ground for a standing split. So we're bringing the belly onto that right thigh. Chest toward the knee. Maybe you're letting your gaze go straight back and just lift your left leg up as much as you can. And when you want to release, you're going to step that left foot back, place your hands on the mat, and step back to downward facing dog. And if you want to wiggle around a little bit here, just moving through the hips and the legs, that might feel good, or just being a still down dog. So we're going to do a little mini rolling vinyasa here. And if you have another kind of vinyasa in your practice, you can take it. I find this is really nice for the shoulders, a little more forgiving than a chaturanga. You can lift the heels and hips with an inhale. As you exhale, round through the spine, coming forward through a plank. And then we're going to reverse the spine, inhaling, flip the feet, lift the knees, roll your heels in, heart lifting, melt through your shoulders, upward dog. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. So all the weight in the right foot, inhale, left leg up, bend the left knee and open your body out to the left. So point that left knee up toward the ceiling. You can drop your right heel, really stretching into the back of the right leg. Stay with your breath. Make it full and deep. If you want to move your foot around, feel free. And then we're going to inhale and straighten the legs, square the hips. Exhaling, left foot steps under the heart. The right foot bumps forward a couple of inches so you can ground the heel. Make sure you have space side to side for a stable stance. Inhale to rise. Exhale, bend your front knee. Warrior one. Shoulders draw down in the body, but the arms are reaching way up. If this isn't comfortable for your neck or shoulders, you can always change your arms. You can do cactus arms, hands to hips, wherever you like. This is more of the classic pose, but we always want to fit the poses to our body, not the other way around. So do what feels good. From here, we're going to launch forward into our warrior three. Sweep your arms if you like, or keep them overhead. Shifting all the way to the left. So we're making a really long line from the top of the head to the right toes, and then hinging forward on the left hip. Try to keep your right hip forward. You don't want to turn out to the side. So we're keeping the right knee pointing to the ground, chest facing down, hips facing down. When you're ready, you can bring your hands down for standing splits. So we're just going to kind of keep that forward movement. Lift your back leg. Belly toward left thigh. That left knee is a little soft, a little micro bend there, and lift your right leg as high as you can. Just point your toes up. Just let it feel fun and good. Doesn't matter how far it goes. And when you're ready, drop your right foot back, hands to mat, downward dog. From here, we'll do our little mini rolling vinyasa, or any variation you like. If you're coming with me, heels rise, hips rise. Exhale, rolling through. So it's like super slow motion. Inhale, all the way forward, up and through into your upward facing dog. And then back to downward dog. When you're ready, mindfully move your feet up to your hands. Exhale to fold. Bend your knees a lot. This really works the legs. We're kind of sneaking through a Utkatasana here, a fierce pose, and then just rising all the way up. And arms float down. Just give some strength to the legs, some awareness to the spine. So next we're going to practice eagle pose. So this can be a little bit challenging. It's a very fun balancing pose that helps us kind of squeeze out the limbs. Inhale to sweep your arms up. With your exhale, sweep your right arm under your left arm. Cradle your elbows, and then see if you can cross your wrists or forearms so the hands won't line up exactly. And just find a place that's comfortable. And for this version, we're going to draw the elbows down. Bend the knees, pull your belly in. So we're really kind of hinging back from the hips here. Okay, and then you're gonna lift that right leg up over the left. The more you bend your standing knee, the easier it would be. And you can just tap your toes down to the ground on the other side of your foot to keep your balance. If you want to challenge the balance, you can bend even deeper and wrap your toes around your ankle. Let your tail scoot back. There's a little bit of a back bend here as you're lifting your chest. Stay with your breath. Elbows drawing down, sinking down as deeply as you like. And when you're ready, you can release it. Sweep your arms up, right foot to ground, and we'll go right into the other side. So this time, left elbow goes under right, cradling the elbows and crossing the forearms or wrists. See if you can just even put your fingers on your thumb or wherever you can reach is fine. And of course, if this is too intense, you can always just put your hands on your shoulders. So find what feels good to you here and bend your knees. Pull your belly in to support your back and take that left leg up. And as you bring it over, so we're lifting and crossing high on the thigh, you can start with left toes on the ground. And then, if you want to challenge that balance, you can wrap your toes around your ankle, maybe sinking a little deeper to make that wrap a little more accessible. Really strengthening the legs. We're squeezing, working our lymphatic system, circulatory system. When you want to release it, you sweep the arms. Rise up, step down, and float your arms down by your sides. Good job. Take some breaths. Just let your body digest all that wonderful decongestion that you just gave your limbs. And when you're ready to move again, inhale to sweep your arms all the way up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale halfway up. Exhale to plank. So we put the palms down, always taking care to spread the weight away from the wrists and toward the top of the palm. Let this be a strong plank pose. So we want to be engaging through the whole body. So we're not making the arms and the hands do all the work here. We're lifting from the hips. We're pressing the thigh bones back, lifting from the sides of the waist. Legs are strong. Elbows are unlocked. A few more breaths. Make any little adjustments that are going to let you just hold with strength. Of course, if you need to put your knees down, that is perfectly fine. And then we're going to bring that left knee down and under the hip. Spin the right foot flat. You can move it a little bit back toward the back edge of the mat. Maybe move the left hand a little forward. And you can let your left foot go off the mat to the side. Sweep your right arm up. There's just a little variation here of opening front body. You can let your chest face the sky. You can let that right arm go back. Left arm is strong. Breathe, enjoy the stretch. Enjoy the shift in orientation. So we kind of turn our world a little upside down here. And then you can release it. Come back through plank pose. Evening up through center and bring your right knee under your right hip. Right foot goes off the mat as the left foot flattens down to the mat, all the weight in the right. And then we're going to sweep that left arm up. Open your heart up to the sky. Just let it feel good. So we're just using our friend gravity to stretch and open through the side body, through the pec major, pec minor, all these muscles that can get tight from our everyday tasks. Our asana practice helps us reverse those repetitive motions from daily life. Go ahead and release it. And even up, lift the knees. We're just going to move into our downward dog as a setup to come into a pigeon pose. So you can lift the leg or not, or just bring it on through. I'm going to inhale right leg up. As you exhale, bend the knee. We're bringing the right knee to the outside of the right wrist and laying the foot on the ground behind the left wrist. And you can come down here, but don't come down all the way yet. So we're going to practice playing around with our king pigeon pose. And so instead of letting your hips go all the way down, we want to push the legs into the ground. So you've got pressure into that right leg, the shin and the thigh is squeezing, and then bend your left knee. And you're pushing the left knee against the ground. So we want to roll the weight above the kneecap, okay? So really kind of bring your weight forward there out of the left kneecap. If you're feeling stable and balanced, you can use a block under your right hand to give you a little more lift. That will make it a little more likely that you might reach your foot. And so if you're holding your foot, you can turn your chest out to the left. If this feels good and you want a deeper stretch in that left thigh, you can pull the heel towards you. And if you want to take the weight out of your right hand, make sure you're pushing your legs strongly against the ground. And maybe you balance here, lifting the right arm. When you are finished having fun with that, you can release. And this time we're going to walk that back leg back. See if you can let your right hip come down. If it's not really close to the ground, you can always place a block behind that hip for support. Or otherwise, you can just come down. You can use block under elbows, block under forehead here. Just let yourself come forward as much as you like. Maybe stacking the hands to rest your head. And just see if you can relax here. Let the gravity push your body weight. And see if you can soften through that right hip and the back of the leg. Nice deep opening to the hip. And so we always hear that tension or emotion can get stored in the hips, and that's because they're so close to the second chakra, which is located in the center of the pelvis, whose job it is to flow our emotions. And if we aren't quite ready to face those emotions, sometimes we'll just stash them in our hips until we're ready. So this is one way we can loosen that up, try to start to release old stale emotions. The more you can relax, each exhale might take you a little deeper. And when you're complete, you can use your strong arms to press you up. Place your hands on the ground. We're going to move through our downward dog. So the first thing is curl back toes under, move your back knee up, again lifting your hips, and then you can step that right foot back. And if you're ready to go for the other side, you can sweep that left leg up or not. Bending the knee, either way, we're pulling the leg up under the body. The knee goes to the outer left wrist. The foot goes behind the right wrist. And we're going to stay lifted here for a moment. If you want to adventure into your lifted king pigeon pose. So the hips are away from the ground right here. We're pushing. There's a lot of strength in this forward leg. And then you bend your back knee so you can see there's this forward movement to take the weight out of the kneecap. You're more like in the base of your leg bone. Right hand can reach back and find the foot. And maybe you're turning your chest out to the right. If you want to deepen that stretch, you can pull the foot towards your seat, maybe even slide the foot up towards the inner elbow. And if you're feeling stable and adventurous, you can reach your left arm up. Find the balance. And when you're ready, release and come into your sleeping pigeon pose. So you can walk that right leg and foot back and just let yourself lower down, maybe block for support or just let yourself lower all the way down. So remember, it is helpful to take it slowly and incrementally and find a place you can support yourself where you can actually relax. So if we're pushing too hard, too far, too fast, we're going to get the opposite effect. The body is going to tighten up. So we just want to find that edge of pleasure, the edge of, I know I'm doing something, but I'm not pushing so hard that I'm going to hurt myself. And in this place, we can really focus on relaxing around that stretching feeling. Just practice letting go. You might feel a little letting go with each exhale breath here. When you feel ready to change, you're going to use your arms to push you up. We're just going to sweep the right leg around, bringing it forward, and crossing over the left, we're going to come into happy cow face. So it doesn't matter where your legs are in this pose. You just want to make sure you're not sitting on your lower foot. So just move that lower foot a little forward or out to the side away so you can ground through both sit bones. And then just explore where this upper leg wants to go. So eventually you might find that you can stack your knees here. If that's not you today, no worries, because you're getting all the benefits of every pose wherever your version is. So just go where it's good, go where it's comfortable, and where you can find some interest. And it's fine to stay upright here. Maybe you find your feet equidistant from your hips. If you want more sensation, you could lean forward. Maybe even bow the head or tuck your chin around your upper knee. If your head is low enough to your hands, you can put all your fingertips together here, and then your thumbs can push on your third eye or up under your inner eyebrows. Again, working into some marma points here that help with clear vision, clear seeing, and balancing out our biorhythms. This works with the pineal gland here. If you're working under the eyebrows, you can just slide your thumbs under the brow bone from the center to the outside. And that helps to release emotional tension or stress held from difficult times. So when you're ready, you can release. We're just going to switch the legs. So you can use your hands behind for support. Uncross your legs. Take your right leg under, knee pointing forward, and then your left leg over, just again to wherever that is for you. If you need support, you can always add a block. Just find where it feels nice. Maybe you find your feet equidistant from your hips. That can feel very symmetrical, even though we're doing this cross-body thing, which is so good for the brain and syncing up the brain hemispheres when we do things cross-body. So wherever you are, be happy. It's perfect. And we're going to lean into it. If you want more stretch, you can, again, first from the hips and then maybe rounding over the upper leg. And once you've arrived, or at least paused somewhere, you can return your attention to your breath. So the breath really helps to integrate the postures with the physiology, the muscles, the connective tissue, the organs, the systems. The breath creates a massaging action within, and also just awareness. And so much of anxiety, stress, depression has to do with disconnecting from the awareness of the body. So all of these movements in our asana practice are really supporting our mental and emotional well-being. When you're complete, you can come up, uncross your legs, and we're just going to come into a real quick little Navasana boat pose. So just for a moment, you can start with your hands behind your thighs. Again, let's see if we can find that line from the tailbone up to the top of the head. So you've got back muscles engaged, you've got abdominal muscles engaged. This is such a nice core strengthener. And then just lean back till you're sort of balancing on your tailbone a little bit. So you've got sit bones and tailbone making a triangle. That is a stable shape. If you're able to be here without the support of your hands, you can reach your arms out or forward or up, wherever you like. Find what feels good. You can lift your feet as high as you like. Just try to keep your chest lifted. So if you're lifting your feet and lifting your hands and you're rounding back, just go back a little. Try to get that nice long spine, stable muscular energy around your center. When you're complete here, you can find your hips in the center of your mat and then just roll yourself down one vertebra at a time. If you want to use your hands or elbows to lower yourself down, that is perfectly great. Once you're lowered down, head touches down, reach your arms overhead. You can let your back lift away from the ground with an inhale, stretch. As you exhale, bring the arms forward, hands meet the knees as you pull your knees to your chest. Just hug those knees in for a few breaths. And of course, anytime you need to breathe out through the mouth, perfectly fine. It's a way to release extra heat, extra anything. And then we'll just take 3 rounds of Apanasana. We're just going to move the knees out with an inhale. Keep the hands on the knees, straighten the arms. And then exhale, let the hands pull the legs in. So this helps to regulate the downward flow in the body. That helps us eliminate efficiently. So we want to make sure our elimination system is working so that we can rid the body of toxins And so we can just do this a few times, and it helps to re-regulate that downward flow. So we're going to finish up with a twist, always to equalize the energy. And so we can finish our practice with balanced energy. So if you want to keep your knees bent, and you can just let the knees go over to the left. If you want to take that left leg long, maybe scooting the hips a little to the right, and then just take the upper knee over. It might be a little deeper. Sweep your right arm toward the ceiling, and then move your head back toward your left shoulder to get a deeper rotational stretch through your neck. And then look out toward that right hand. If you want, you can even create a sweeping motion here, just to give a final little opening through the shoulder. Feels so good. Equalizing the energy, realigning the vertebrae. And then we're going to release. Just let yourself roll out of that pose. Coming back to center, center yourself on your mat. Again, if you just want to bring both knees over to the right or right leg along, left knee, might want to get a little deeper twist. Move your head over toward your right shoulder and then open your left arm out to your left. Again, you don't have to keep your left shoulder down. You don't have to have your upper knee touching the floor. Just find a happy medium where you're finding a really nice, twisty, stretchy feeling. So good for the spine. Breathe into your spine here. Giving yourself your own spinal realignment as you equalize the energy. And then when you're complete there, you can just roll back to center. Even yourself up. If there's any final movements you like to take at the end of your practice, feel free to do that. You can take legs up. Maybe you want a little shoulder stand or a plow pose. Or if you are ready, you can come into your relaxation. So this pose, Shavasana, is potentially the most important pose of all the active poses we did. Let's take some releasing breaths here, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Each of those exhales is letting go, releasing excess carbon dioxide that may have come with the exercise, clearing lungs, clearing mind, clearing spirit. And then just let go. And the more you can really let go here, the more benefit you are going to get from your practice. And it's a training for how you can let go during maybe some difficult or stressful times in everyday life. You just practice letting go. In this position, we are completely supported by the floor behind our whole back body. Feeling very safe and secure, cared for, nurtured. True perfection seems imperfect, yet it is perfectly itself. True fullness seems empty, yet it is fully present. True straightness seems crooked. True wisdom seems foolish. True art seems artless. The master allows things to happen. She shapes events as they come. She steps out of the way and lets the Tao speak for itself. A reading from the Tao Te Ching. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. And when you are ready to re-emerge from your practice, just know that you have transformed yourself inside to outside, head to toes, skin to bones, in every aspect of your being. And when you do feel ready, You can let yourself come up and go forth fully recharged, fully rejuvenated. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today, allowing me to be your guide. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Hari Om and Namaste.